Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Admiral Markets webinar, live webinar. In fact, we're taking a look, of course, at the Forex market, commodities, stock indices, with a specific focus on entry and exit tactics. So that's going to be coming up right in a few minutes. First of all, though, be aware that this webinar is shown to global audience, but may not be suitable for everyone. Please visit admiralmarketsglobal.com, select your country of residence, and contact appropriate entity for more info and details to find out if it is suitable for you. Also, please note that trading for exchange and global financial markets is considered high risk. Please seek the advice of an independent financial advisor for more information on that. This webinar is for informational and educational purposes only. By continuing watching this webinar, you agree with this disclaimer. Plus, you are aware of the risk involved when trading. Alrighty, with these formalities out of the way, of course, very important regarding the risk. But now we can move on and we can take a look at the charts in just a second. First of all, though, a quick note that you can take a look at admiralmarkets.com. You'll find out information about MetaTrader 4 Supreme Edition, for instance, here, which will show you a couple of neat features about that. Free plugin with 60 extra tools and indicators and lots more. Our educational programs here, of course, you can find out education, a lot of things to discover, like articles and courses, analytics with live analysis, and also it's important to take a look at the calendar, for instance. And for more practical things to trade and enter the market or to tackle the market, I should say, then you can find out, of course, platforms and start trading. So we hope that you'll make Admiral Markets your home and hub for trading. And with that said, let's take a look at the live chart. Yesterday, I myself, based on my own video that I recorded, sorry, I'm getting my words mixed up. Yesterday, I took a long here because this, in my opinion, was a wave 3. This was a wave 4, and I expected a wave 5. And I did take the entry, though, based on my trading system, which is not visible on this chart. We can take a look at that at a different spot. Does everyone else hear me? One person is saying that there's no sound, so I would pause here. Do you hear me at this moment? If you can hear me, please write a Y. Okay, great. So you can hear me. Let me just quickly write, sorry for this, let me quickly write the other person that cannot hear me. All right. I will show you later on how I took the exact entry. It was this candle, and there was another entry right here. So if we look at the candles themselves, from a time perspective, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 candle, right? 7, 8. So this kind of correction was already finished. And I actually took it a bit later than this was the entry signal. I did take it a few pips higher because I just missed the moment of the signal. So I was just not behind the charts when the signal came, but that's okay, that can happen. Price did go sideways and there was another signal here. You can see that basically the analysis was based on waves, but the entries were taken on candles and my own proprietary system. So I exited for about plus 50 pips at around here as price was making a correction, but now it's bouncing back up. So I think that there's definitely an uptrend, and I think that the yen might continue with one more push. But the target is pretty close. I think 112 is the main target. So I'm not sure if it's worth necessarily the risk, because here is still the fractal, although now there's a fractal here. So theoretically, we could use this fractal at this moment. But the entry candle, I think, was more this one. So this is the risk, and this is the target. So that doesn't look as interesting as it was yesterday from my perspective. So I don't think that this is a good moment with resistance so close by. And indeed, Osama, that's a good observation. There's also single divergence between these tops. Well, it is a 1 hour chart, so I wouldn't say necessarily that that is the only factor to consider, but it is a factor, and that's not positive with the trend setups. So I'm not sure about this spot, but anyone who saw, did anyone see yesterday's video that I placed on Iowa Markets website by any chance? Anyone who saw that, let me know, just out of curiosity. Anyone who saw that knew that I was looking for a continuation, and I did trade it here for plus 50. So I just wanted to, but now at this moment, I think it's better to wait for a bit bigger consolidation perhaps, or even a break. Let's take a look at the 4-hour chart. And I would probably need to see a good 4-hour candle break through it and a new hook back to this level, or some consolidation, and then a continue. Something like that probably. Alrighty. But I think that ultimately this dollar yen will continue higher. We'll just keep pushing. Just, I think, need to wait for a bit more info before trading it. But let's take a look now at the euro dollar. Your dollar seems to be breaking this support trend line, and in fact, yesterday I was talking about the potential bounce at the weekly pivot. So that did indeed happen nicely. This candle, I think we were talking about, there was another 2 wicks here. Did anyone take your dollar short perhaps yesterday, or the dollar yen? Did anyone take those trades by any chance? And if not, it's no problem, of course. Just curious if anyone managed to grab some pips. That's always good. Nothing. That's okay. No worries. So, but anyhow, this was discussed in the video yesterday too, and I think that price is most likely going to break below the S1, I think, personally. And I think there's a good chance that this could be a wave 3. But for that to happen, we need to see today's candle with a good close. You see the 4-hour chart is still, was still an uptrend, in fact. So this was a bit of a reversal trade. We had good momentum prior to it, 5 waves as well. So I do think that there was a good chance that this was a bouncing spot, or the R1. And now price is approaching the S1. We already broke through this trend line. So I think that later this week there's a good chance that price might fill this gap between the S1 and S2. If we put a fib from here to here, like this, I think that this is a pretty interesting zone to trade. So if there's a good candle close on the 4-hour chart near the low, all right, then it will be breaking through Admiral Keltner, which is one of those indicators from the MetaTrader 4 Supreme Edition, and it will be most likely very seriously challenging Admiral Pivot Point, as well part of the MetaTrader 4 Supreme Edition. So as long as this 4-hour candle, I think, has a good close near the low, I think that later today, tomorrow, there should be some continuation and a break lower like this. So I will take a look later on how I'll actually trade it. This is just analysis first, and then we'll dive into some of the entry methods that I use. But first things first, let me just wrap up the analysis and then we'll move on. Pound dollar broke the weekly pivot, broke through this blue trend line, and made a good dash so far. So this could be a wave 3 too. And looks like we could see a follow through of that. Now, at this moment, I think the best is probably to wait from an analysis point of view for this daily candle to finish, wait for a bit of a hook back to the S1 and look for a continuation. If it is anything at least looking like this current daily candle. The daily candle is looking strong, sizable. If the candle close is near the low, that would be a good breakout candle. I would look, probably even put a fib on this candle tomorrow and wait for retracement to 38.2 fib and the S1 confluence. Look for a turn. Safe stop loss would be probably above today's high. Once again, if the candle closes near the low, and something like this could occur as price goes down to the S2 and perhaps down to the S3. So pound dollar looks bearish. I wouldn't say today. It already traveled quite a lot, and I think that it could, go into a consolidation. Maybe not right now, but pretty soon. I don't think that trading these last few pips makes sense. Of course, it could still break current low by a few pips. Therefore, whatever the low is of today, I would move the fib to that low. At this moment, this is the low, but it doesn't have to be the the low of today. Price could still push lower. Then at the end of the day, I would just adjust this fib to the low and wait for price to get up to the S1 and 38 and 52 fibs. So today I don't think this is worth trading because it has already broken, but it could be worth trading tomorrow. The same thing for the dollar yen really. That best setup was already here, not necessarily now. The euro dollar was best setup was here, not necessarily now, but maybe also just like the pound tomorrow, right? Wait for this candle to close, wait for maybe the daily candle to close, wait for retracement and continuation. So this is my analysis, but once again, I will dive into or show you some of the triggers that I've used for these setups as well, so you can see, not only the analysis part but the entry part as well. Aussie is something of a range, as you can see, obviously, and price has gone back to the long-term moving average. So I'm not interested in the Aussie at this moment. There's 4-hour divergence between these stops, and there's a sideways zone like this. So I don't think it's that interesting. It could be interesting for a reversal. I think if today's daily candle is bearish like this, that tomorrow might see an acceleration to at least test the S1. So it could be bearish as well, just like the pound and the euro dollar. Kiwi, probably same, but yeah, probably roughly the same as the Aussie. There's a bit of a difference, I guess, in the sense that the Aussie has already broken this bottom and the Kiwi hasn't. And we see, although the Odd New Zealand is looking quite indecisive on the hourly chart, we see why maybe the Aussie is weaker, because ultimately the odd New Zealand is in a downtrend, although it's in a serious sideways range as well. So Kiwi doesn't look interesting. I'll step aside of that. Dollar CAD does not look interesting at this moment. It's actually counter trend at this point. Downtrend, but price is making upside. It's retracing or reversing. And it could be building a ABC zigzag. You see there was weakness here. 78.6 fib couldn't break this bottom. Looks like there could be an ABC zigzag. Counter trend traders might be interested in trading it up to the moving average, for instance. I'm not a big fan of that. Gold, and then we'll take a look at New Zealand CAD. Gold is, let's see, more or less still the same vibe, moving down after double top. Serious downtrend on the 4-hour at this moment. But on the daily, as I said last time, pretty good momentum as well. So it depends. I think that this could fall down to test these bottoms, but those could be sturdy bottoms too. So I think there is some downside potential, but I wouldn't exaggerate in how far it could fall. This could be serious bouncing spots. For the moment though, it is in a downtrend, and as long as it stays away from those areas, there could be some setups as price retraces to the band here, the short-term or intermediate moving average, like here, even here, were good bounce setups, as you can see. All right. Those were behind us now, though, at this moment. Those already have occurred. And if you missed those, it's probably better to wait, I guess, for this daily candle to close. I don't see anything at this moment. From my perspective, these were the signals, and those are past, unfortunately. So, but it's if price might get back to, might make a flag like this, could still be a breakout if that occurs. Euro odd is, this is an example trade that I took myself on the Euro odd, and I will just stop that a bit. Let's see. I just trail stop this fractal. Let me check out what a fractal is. 85. All right. So I can go to 88. So I'm using these fractals to reduce the risk. I took the trade in here, and you'll see why as well. You see, basically, yeah, you basically, why I took it. Basically, it was in a downtrend. Let me show you quickly. Since here, downtrend, moving averages aligned, price below the moving averages. And then on the hourly chart, you can see price respecting the 21, then breaking above it, retracing it, and then breaking below it again. This was my signal, and that's where I took it. And price went with me, against me, with me, now against me. So for those that maybe know my trade management style, I'm patient at the beginning, then become less patient, then become a bit more patient, and then become less patient. So here I have patience. Here I have less patience. I start reducing the risk. Here I have patience again, and here I have less patience. So I'm basically reducing the risk to a very, very small percentage compared to its original risk, which was this. Original risk was this. So it's probably about a fifth of the original risk. And that's okay. If this trade gets out, then it's a small loss. That's fine. That's fine. I can take a lot of small losses. That's not an issue. So that's fine. It just didn't go my way as yet. I still hope it can turn, but if it doesn't, that's fine. The target, from my perspective, I was using these fib sequence levels for that. There we go. Sorry about that. It's slow. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4. This is the fifth. So I was aiming, as you can see, for the sixth. I have an aim target there, take profit there, just at the sixth, above the sixth a bit, just a bit above 145. And so I'm not sure what the R to R was, but I think about 3 to 1. So that's what I was hoping for, but it didn't pan out exactly. But those things can happen. They don't always, not always that equally sweet. I mean, sometimes they are. This one was very sweet. I think I took that one. I'm not sure which one of it was one of the Euro odd, Euro New Zealand, pound odd, pound New Zealand ones. I don't remember which one, but I took a couple of them last week. But this one was this week. So far, nothing that stellar. Indeed, the pound odd is, so anyhow, just to finish the story, you're seeing a bit different template that we just saw. What I did here is basically give myself triggers for entries with arrows and colored candle. I know that not everyone is a fan, but for me, it makes everything a little bit easier. I do my analysis, and then I just wait for the signal. Much simpler process for myself. Suits my trading psychology more. Pound odd, though, yes, was good. And I missed this one somehow. And I didn't take this one. I don't remember why. Let me quickly recap. Maybe because I was in the Euro odd already. But this one worked out fine indeed. Yeah, I didn't because I thought Euro odd was trending. The pound odd was still didn't break the third level. So that was the reason for myself. But yes, if you took the pound odd because you thought it was better, great job. Because these signals indeed after small consolidation or these signals here worked out very nicely indeed. So great job on that. Euro New Zealand, I took before. That was here. I took one of them. And here was another one. Yes, that was because it broke the third level. I was not a big fan of these setups. I'll tell you why, because the third level didn't break yet. Then the third level broke right here. So in fact, actually this one could be okay already. Let me make a blue circle so you can, or green circle so you can see it better. This one would be okay already because we already respected the third level, but then it starts to break. So I think this could be already a good signal. Those others before that are not so good, I think. This one is fine too because it was trending. It was below the third level at that point. So this was a good signal. This was a good signal in my view. And other potential signals could have been all of these three, in fact. But I took this one, the last one, and then I took this one again, actually. So let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. So of course I didn't take all these three, by the way. Don't get me wrong. I missed this one and I missed the first two, and I don't think that each of these three should be taken. One is plenty. Don't get me wrong. You don't want to over risk in the same spot. This one is perhaps a bit risky. I actually broke my own rules. I'll actually exit that. I just realized that in my haste, I took this one, but it's not a setup. So let me send it out just to practice one to show you some entry signals that I take. Let me close that one. It's a mistake by myself, and I was too fast before the webinar because the short-term moving average is actually up, and the short-term moving average has to be with the setup. So this is not a setup actually because the short-term moving average is up. This one is not a setup because the short-term moving average is up, excuse me. So this one is, short-term average is down. This one is also up. So this one is okay right here. This one is down, as you can see. So these two are also fine. So the short-term moving average has to be aligned. Otherwise, there's danger that this could just be a hook back for a bigger correction. So, and the pound New Zealand was fine too. You can see everything aligned as well. You can see that basically price was in a trend. I think, let me check how many pips. 240. Yeah, that's fourth level. And then here we had the short-term moving average aligned. Yo, sorry, this one was not one. This one's not a setup either because these indicators were not aligned. So actually, this was the setup right here. So it avoided basically these setups, and because of the multi-time frame indicator plus the short-term moving average, those are two great ways to avoid early setups. So I took this one, or I didn't take this one, sorry, but I meant the signal was there. That's what I meant, sorry. Anyhow, you get my point. Let's talk about some others. Sorry, I was a bit stuck in this a bit longer than I wanted to. But anyhow, you saw a quick overview of how I take my entries. So when you hear my analysis, that's basically kind of the roadmap that I have in mind. And then when then I move on, and then I'm trying to keep those pairs in mind that I thought were interesting regarding the analysis. And then I enter those if I see the trigger, etc., and if I see the signal. All right, so you saw part of the analysis, you saw part how I do triggers. We can move on and take a look at other currencies now, or some instruments perhaps. But first, let me see if is Angel still here. I think he unfortunately had to leave. Let me double check. Is Angel still here? I don't think so. Anyhow, he's saying that the fractals that I use at the very beginning of the webinar, he said that they're really good. So happy to hear that. He's enjoying them. So that's great. Very happy about that. Let me see some other comments. New Zealand Cat, I'm going to take a look at that. Sorry about that, Osama. That we're going to take a look at that right now. And Angel got those signals on gold. That's great. And Roberto has one question, and then we'll move on. What is the best after fractals? Well, you could use candles. You can use candlestick patterns at moving averages. Or you can start to use fractals. I think they're pretty useful. You can see automatically where support and resistance are. You can use parabolic. You could use, let's see, support and resistance, trend lines, fibs, fib levels. There are a lot of things you could use, I guess, for moving stop losses. Those are just a couple of ideas there. Let's take a look at the broader market very quickly. S&P still managing to push up with a higher high, no reversal in sight yet. Oil is breaking the support, and let's see, seems to be challenging 38.2 fib. If it's a good daily candle here, it might break through that. Tomorrow or later this week. DAX also getting higher highs. Dow Jones higher highs. So broadly speaking, pretty strong equity market, as we can see. Let's take a look at some other currency pairs still. We have pound yen and euro yen to look at. Alrighty. One, two, three, four, five, sixth day, the pound yen. So I would not be surprised personally if this could turn into a zigzag. It is counter trend, but I wouldn't be surprised if this is a fall towards a bouncing spot like this, or the 78.6 fib. I do see a good chance that this could be 5 waves. So I think that it would make sense to look for that. At this moment, it's not an uptrend on the 4-hour chart, so I would be definitely careful. I would need to see some good candlestick patterns on the 4-hour or daily chart for the pound yen. Euro yen, let's take a look quickly. Don't like it too much. No trend at this moment. So all in all, I think we looked at Euro pound still, almost all of them. 1 second. Euro pound is an uptrend, but I don't like to trade the Euro pound itself. But it's good to keep an eye on it, for the euro and pound point of view. So all in all, I think that euro looks like it's retracing. I would be interested in trying to short it down to the next target, even if I get taken out, as long as it does not hit 147.40. If it stays below 147.30, let's say, I would be looking for another turnaround here to short it down to that next target, which is down at 145. And I would try it again. The pound out looking good. If pound out can make a retracement and continue, I think that could be very interesting too for a fall down to the fifth level at 165. So I think that has some potential. Let's see. And I think that pound New Zealand, euro New Zealand could have equally so potential because actually New Zealand looks a bit stronger. Let me add on the pound New Zealand. I have the, let's see, euro pound, euro stronger. So pound New Zealand might be an interesting one. Let's see, I have these targets in mind. One, two, three, four. So that's good. So looking at the fifth, so we need to see some correction, price turning, and then falling down to the fifth level at 173.50. Pound New Zealand probably maybe even looking most interesting one. Maybe you pound out after that, I would say. All right, that's my view. Pound New Zealand probably looking the most interesting, but I need to see some correction and then a turn and a follow through. Of course, this downtrend will not last forever. So on a 4-hour chart, we've got to be aware that this will top out or bottom out, I should say, at one point. So pound yen counter reversal trade could be interesting, but that's a risky one. Other than that, I think it's interesting to trade Aussie reversal if today's candle is bearish. Pound dollar could be interesting for downside if today's candle is bearish and closes near the low. Dollar yen, sorry about that. Dollar yen likely to continue upwards, but price needs to break above 112. And euro dollar, I think, might be ready for downside, but I do want to see price break below the S1 or show some good candle here, maybe even a good daily candle to see if I can sneak in tomorrow some continuation. So pound dollar, pound New Zealand, dollar yen may be my favorites, Aussie and euro dollar after that. That's probably my list at this moment. So that wraps up, I guess, at least the analysis part. Do you have any questions for the moment? Check out, of course, more webinars with Admiral Markets right here by going to education and clicking on Forex and CFD webinars. And you'll find out that Nenad has his live trading session with Nenad. Sorry. Yeah, actually it's true. Nenad has his session tomorrow that's called Session with Nenad. So, and then I have my candlestick and Fibonacci patterns and support and resistance. And then we take a look Thursday at Bill Williams' chaos system educational part. And next week we have the same lineup or similar lineup but with a different educational webinar. Of course, if you're interested in those indicators, like for instance, the Admiral Keltner, Admiral Pivot Points, but also, for instance, this mini terminal and many more, you can check out 60 plus features right here, Platforms MT4 Supreme Edition. And you'll be able to see all kind of goodies there. All right, folks. Well, I appreciate your time. I appreciate that you were here. I hope that you found it interesting to see analysis and the triggers. We'll be back tomorrow with the more pattern-oriented webinar, candlesticks and Fibonacci's. And hope to see you there and wish you all great trading. Cheers.